piece 70, the Palazzo Rucellai by Leon Battista Alberti. And we say here in the identifiers that he was an architect, but the truth is the guy could do anything. He was a priest. He could ride wild horses and jump them over a standing man. He wrote plays that were considered classics the minute he wrote them. He could restore Roman aqueducts, that have technology that's 1,000 years old. And then he wrote academic papers on cryptography, which is like writing things so that people can't understand it in code. Grammar, geography, optics, painting. So he is an amazing scholar, and here's his image. If you just took a look at this building, there's a lot going on, but at the same time, the front of it is super flat. And so he has got some serious skill in calling back to the classics. So the context for this piece is that Alberti knew about the Dori forest and the Polyclitus use of math. He also knew about the images here, or the Parthenon, and how it was so well proportioned. The ratio of height to width and length was so appealing to the eye, and he felt that there should be an equally impressive way to design a home for a family, a very rich family. The other contextual piece to know, this is just form. The other contextual piece to know is that Alberti had been to Rome and he saw the ruins of the Colosseum. And so he really looked at the design of this building and incorporated it into this home. The function of this is the private home for super wealthy merchant family. They did, so it functioned as, I guess, not only a home, probably a place of business, because they did business on the main floor. On the second floor, they greeted their guests, and on the third floor is where they lived there with their private rooms. And this functioned as a model for future, nice, wealthy homes. So you should be, when you're going around the world, looking at private homes and just comparing what the impact might have been of this home on modern homes. So I said he uses classical elements because he looked at the Parthenon, he looked at the Colosseum. And so what did he use? Well, this is called a facade, this front of a building. And at the very bottom, we see much bigger blocks, especially here at the very bottom, at the street level. These massive blocks have got cross hatching on them to kind of break them up, but they are big and stout, and they are intended to hold the weight of the building. And then right above the cross hatched blocks of stone are also big building stones. And at the bottom of this palazzo are the bigger stones. And then square windows. And notice here that the entryway does not get a rounded arch or an arch of any kind. Instead, we have the very rugged and weight-bearing post and lintel. Think about Stonehenge, where we saw first their post and lintel. So he's using them here. And then also, they don't stick out a lot. These are what are called engaged pilasters. They're like, they have the view of columns, but they're set into the building. So we get the architectural appreciation, but we don't have anything protruding out from the building, at least not very much. So these, columns, these pilasters are, they're not columns, you should say pilasters. they have on the top of them the design of the Tuscan order, like what came from the Etruscans. So that's the first layer, or excuse me, first floor. And then the second and third tier or floors, they are smaller in height as compared to the first floor. And over the windows, which are bigger, there are, or around them are these archways, and the stones are smaller, and that intends to make the building feel lighter as it goes up. And the pilasters here, kind of these pseudo columns, pilasters that are engaged in the building on this floor have a capital which is designed with these two pieces. This is a palmetto and the leaf of another plant that I just forgot the name of. Oh my God. So he personally designed this second level. And then on the third level, he has got these Corinthian capitals going on. Then you can't really see it. Kind of almost looks like it blends in with the roof line here, but there's a fourth floor and a fourth story, and it's set back. And the reason for that is the people that would live up there would be the servants. And we joked last year that that's probably where Paula, that's where I would live, because I would not be able to own such a fancy home. So I'd be a servant up there. And then finally on form, we have a little more vocabulary above the pilasters separating each floor or tier of the home. This is called an entablature. It looks to me, reminds me of a register that could be used in art. And so here's another entablature. And then this on the top protrudes more, a little bit fancier. It's a cornice, a cornice. And then at the bottom of the building is benches, or are benches for people who are passing by. They want to sit down and take a rest. They can sit on these benches. It's kind of like wealthy families saying, hey, yeah, we got this big building, and you're welcome to sit here as you're walking past. So now, but keep in mind that they do business on the main floor. So it's a unique combination use of a building, at least for us today. So benches on the bottom floor of the home. And so then content overall, what we have is a Renaissance building, a Renaissance home that is completely removed from the medieval style, and it harkens back to, that mathematical formula of the Doryphorus, that great proportion of the Parthenon, and that unique design of the Colosseum. It combines them all into a home for a rich person.